Welcome. This is the great podcast that Richie Greenberg and I have started called Really
Really,
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco?
We
Welcome.
welcome.
Welcome everybody. This is episode 2 and take it away, Erica. Would you introduce what today's topic is?
Okay, well the topic today is about recalls, and this is something that Richie and I have been talking about every once in a while, but just recently it's really come up a lot. We get together, we have coffee early in the morning on Sundays, and this really came up as being something that is important to San Franciscans and just of infinite fascination for people who love drama, which I do. And so the whole idea of a recall, good, bad, pro, con, what does it really do? Is it against the American way, the San Francisco way?
Mhm.
And so why not make this a topic of conversation for this amazing podcast? It just makes sense.
It really does. And there's so many different ways to look at recalls, and it really gets people fired up, as we've learned over the past few years, specifically here, not only here in San Francisco, but in the Bay Area. There have been multiple successful recalls of public officials for a variety of reasons, and a lot of them just seem to have the same kind of sentiment behind it. Why are we trying to get this official out of office? And yeah, as you said, Erica, we meet. For people who don't know, Erica and I, we meet fairly regularly early in the morning and just chat about all kinds of things. So we have gripe sessions, and we bitch and moan about people and places and things happening here that we just wish weren't so bad, so negative. And but recalls are really something that need to be talked about. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, reasoning behind it. And also, if you're listening now and you haven't lived here in San Francisco before, like you're new to the city and you're wondering just what is this whole thing all about? What do these mean? Then this is basically a primer about what recalls are.
Yep,
All right.
yep,
So,
exactly.
um,
You want to take it away then about what
all right,
exactly
we'll
a
start.
recall
Yeah,
is?
yeah,
Because
we'll start
I
with
think we're
that.
both intimately familiar with the
Yes,
process.
and we are. So, what is a recall? And basically, when a elected official uh, has been problematic, right? We, as in the democratic process, it allows us voters to remove that official from office before the end of their term. That's the quick and dirty definition. It varies by state. Not every state has the mechanism, has the laws on the books. It's not within their state constitution. Some have only local level recalls allowable. Others are both state and local. And here in California, it's both. You could do a state level, like the governor, Gavin Newsom, which was attempted a while back, or you could do local ones. So either like a mayor or a district attorney or city council, which is like the micro level. And here in the United States, there's, as far as I know, there are 39 states that have provisions to recall local elected officials. And as I said, here in California, we have both state and local level. Um, and and Erica, as you know, here in the Bay Area, there's been quite a few.
Yeah, there definitely has. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds regarding the machinations of all of this, but I think what's interesting is you got to be pretty bad in order for
Yeah,
people to rise up and say, "Okay, we're not going to allow you to finish your term."
that's
And
right.
yeah,
It's not gonna be just something, well, he said, she said
no,
something mean,
no.
or we don't like the brand of coffee they drink.
And I
We
think
don't like their tie, the bow tie or
not at
no tie, or
all. Or
it's not that level.
certainly not, certainly not. And I think that's where the misconception really comes in into play with the whole Joel and Engardio situation,
Mhm.
where the other side that says, I can't believe you're going to recall this guy over a road. And
Hmm.
I find that really disingenuous or not informed. One or the other. I
Yeah.
don't know where you want to go with that, but it's one or the other because that's not what it is. A
Yeah.
recall is not typically started by a single issue grievance. It's not a, oh gosh, I know I really didn't think that that was going to
Hmm.
end up happening. And now I'm angry, stomp my feet, get everyone together and kind of instigate this thing.
Right. And also
It's much deeper.
it's important to understand too that this is not just where one person can start a recall. You don't have one individual person
That's a great
can
point.
say, yeah, I don't like his shoes and
Yeah.
he was mean to me, so I don't want him in office anymore. There's all technicalities, how it has to proceed, how many people are required to sign the initial notice of intention to start a recall. Everything has
Yes.
to be done by the book, and the local government has the format, the template of how it happens and how many days you have to wait between this and that, and how many days are, how many signatures are required. So as you said, it's more, it's got to be a real reason. And
Mhm.
you've got, it has to be multiple people all together, come together to create the complaint document against the public official, basically. Why do we think we need to yank you out of office? And it has to be signed by several dozen people in most cases or more. And then you have to have a certain number, percentage of the total number of voters of that district or of that of the city, or county, have to all agree with these people and sign the approved petition to say, yes, we agree. We want him pulled out of office. We want to recall him. And so, again, it can't be one person or a couple of people. This is how it all works. It's a whole big, long production, and it goes over the course of months and months and months. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's really
And
important.
it is. It's really important. And as you say, not every jurisdiction has them. We do. I think we're really fortunate for that. I believe they're certainly necessary. You were so gracious as to write down some lovely notes about this. And as I was reading them, I'm thinking, oh, yep, I totally agree. So, one of
Yeah,
them is to correct misrepresentation or misconduct. You did
yeah.
something wrong. You said you were going to do something and you didn't. So yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's really important. And it's up to that elected official if they know that they're kind of veering off the road and
Hmm.
that the constituents are angry, they're rightly so.
Yeah, I mean,
Then take that as
yeah.
your cue. Get it together, my darling.
That's
That's what you
right.
need to do.
That's right. It's you did misconduct or
Yeah,
corruption, even gross incompetence, significantly deviated from what your campaign promises were. In other words, that's like a bait and switch. That's where
absolutely.
you tell your voters, I'm going to do this, and you wind up doing something completely opposite. So,
Yeah,
something like that.
yes. And then another point that you made is to restore trust in governance. And
Hmm.
with trust being at a nadir right
Yep.
now,
All
um,
time low.
it really is pathetic. And that includes the media, but we'll stick to this. Um,
That's a whole
is
nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. But you want to build trust. In order to build trust, it's fulfill what you said you were going to do. You made promises, fulfill those promises. You you do something completely bizarre, then suffer the consequences. I mean,
Hmm.
this is trust. That's what
Hmm.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think those are for me the two big reasons. And I would love to get into the whole, like, the issue that I've seen over and over again. I put it up on X. I'm like, I believe in recalls, this is important. And then I open it up, of course, to people, like, what do you think?
Hmm.
It
Yep.
got a lot of response, which was
Yeah.
great.
Great.
Overall, I think people are very much in agreement, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, they should be difficult. You made a great point, which is this isn't a simple process. It's a lengthy process and it's an expensive process.
It
All
is.
of that makes sense. It
Right.
makes sense. So
And but you know what also that winds up being the counterpoint. Sometimes you will see, a supporter of a person who is being threatened with a recall. And we've seen that many times over these past few years from all the different people who are being targeted by recall in the Bay Area and here in San Francisco, where their supporters will try and attack the recall people,
Mm-hmm.
either right to their face or on social media or by email or however, and they'll say this is undemocratic. They'll say that you don't care about democracy, do you? That you're having this person, this elected official who won in a democratic election, you're now trying to recall them, a few of you, you know.
Yes. And, this is the Really San Francisco podcast. So let's go dive into what we're experiencing right now. This is
Specifically.
right. Specifically, let's go.
Yeah.
The
Where
Boy,
do you
I tell you, I'm
start? There's
almost
so much.
tongue-tied about
There's
this.
so much.
There really is. And this is not personal. And I really think that needs to come out as well. This isn't a personal attack against a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not him as a human being.
Well, who's him, first of all? Anyone
Joel
listening?
Engardio.
Okay, and who is Joel Engardio? He's
District
District 4, District
Correct.
4 supervisor, the Sunset West Side.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. So his constituents, the people who voted him into office, clearly they had a big problem with this Proposition K. They didn't want it to pass. The rest of the city got to vote on it, and it went through. Because my darling friends here in San Francisco, who I adore, because why wouldn't I? They're my friends. I would hear over and over again, I like parks.
Mm-hmm.
We need more parks. Right.
Yeah.
So it is very easy to say something like that. Well, of course, yes, close that road. And not I guess it's not thinking, it's not being empathetic, I think, to the people who it's going to affect the most. So
right. And it was extremely problematic because for people who don't really know what the gist of this whole thing is, there is a section of very, very important north-south express corridor roadway, two-way road that connected the northern northwest part of the Richmond district and then the southern section of the city. Commuters and students and workers and everyone use that road, and it was presented to the citywide ballot measure last year in November that the road really was unnecessary. It was falling apart and all of that. And so it affected us West Side people the most. Now, Erica, you don't live on the West Side.
Nope, I sure do not.
I live on the West Side, but not the area that elected Joel Engardio. So you and I, neither of us have direct, we can say what we want, but we can't vote in the recall for Engardio, nor did we vote to put him into office either. So
this puts the power back into the hands of the constituents.
The recall does,
absolutely.
Correct.
So
because,
there you go. Give it back to them. It takes it away from the city as a whole. Refocuses the attention.
And the notes that you and I have just talked about a few moments ago, it corrects misrepresentation. It can restore trust in governance. That's one of the fancy titles, concepts of why recall someone.
And let's make no mistake, this is not something that's going to change the fact. The road is closed. It is not a park. They call it a park. It's not a park. You've been there many, many times. It's virtually empty. It is a wasteland. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's pretty sad. But it's not going to change that. That is what it is now, which is really, really sad. What it does do, and this is the conflict here, is that it punishes the person who did it. And this is a punishment. It's a punishment to if this goes through. It's a punishment to Joel Engardio. It is more than a slap on the wrist. It is you got to go. And
it would send signals. It would send a signal, a message to others in the city that you can't just campaign on something, get elected, and then do whatever it is you
It's
want without consulting with your constituents.
it is as simple as that. And it is as democratic as that. Here in San Francisco, we love politics. We love it. It is our playtime, our showtime. It is fascinating.
And
I will
I'm
say
not,
this is
I
like
don't,
reality TV.
I'm not sure about you, but when I first moved here to San Francisco back in 2001, I didn't pay attention to politics. And
Mm.
what happened is, over time, it started to grow on me, and I started to get
Hmm.
more curious what's happening, and why are these things going on, and why do I keep reading and hearing about all these different issues and people that I would meet in business and in just chatting with people in a bar or whatever. They would all say, so what do you think about this issue or that issue? And I like, well, I don't know, I'm not paying attention. And then they would just kind of like shun you and get up and leave. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't realize that it was such an important part of our 49 square miles here in San Francisco. I didn't
It's
realize that.
it's totally part of our culture, and I almost want to say that it's not even politics. This is it's just drama, and
Well,
you and
it
I.
is drama,
It
political
is.
drama.
So
It
okay,
is.
so now let's get back to this.
Mm-hmm.
It does send a signal.
Yeah.
I'm sure the other supervisors have taken note, very
Mm-hmm.
much so. Same with the mayor, right? Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody who's elected who
Yeah.
can be recalled.
So there's a lot. There's a big pool of potential recallees.
Yep.
So there's 11 supervisors that are here in San Francisco. Joel Engardio is one of 11. The mayor, the district attorney, the city attorney, the public defender. I think there's one or two others, but for the most part, those are all the ones who, all the public officials who are potential targets. Yeah,
Okay, so and I hate to use the word target, but it
I do
potential.
too.
Yeah,
But
so let's get rid of that.
okay,
But it's like any employee, and that
yeah,
really got some pushback from people,
yeah,
which is, well, they're not like any employee,
yeah.
and I'm going to dispute that. I'm sorry to all the people who said that this is different. It's not different. It's not different. You've got a job to do. As if you
Mm-hmm.
saw me in real life right now, I'm punching my
You
hand.
you are
You
you
have
are. It's
a
turning. It's turning. Be careful. Be
yes.
careful. Don't
You have
no
you do.
knuckles.
You have a job to do. It is not that much different from anybody
And
else who has to
and they're
show
getting
up to work.
paid. They're
They're
getting
getting
paid
they
100.
are.
A hundred and what, $160,000 a
That's
year
right.
approximately.
And these are important positions. They
They
make
are.
they make they fly the plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
This plane needs to get off the tarmac, hit 10,000 or whatever, it's 10,000 feet,
Feet.
10,000 miles, 10,000 feet. It needs to fly right.
Yeah.
It needs to
And
it
then
needs
go
to
all the way
weather the
up,
storms,
and
right?
then up to 39,000
That's
feet
right. There you
eventually.
go.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
And then it needs to descend and it needs to land correctly.
That's right.
It is as important as almost as important that because people's lives are at stake. This really is people's businesses, their
Mm-hmm.
livelihoods,
Mm-hmm.
their reputation, their loves, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And these elected officials have the citizens' lives in their hands, and they should never ever forget that this
That's
is
right.
that important. That's why I say recalls are that important, because it's a mechanism, and it's something that people do have at their disposal should they need it. It is
That's
the
right.
emergency button that you
Mm-hmm.
push and say enough is enough, we're going to give this a
Eject.
try.
It's the
Eject.
eject button. And
Yeah.
if I can add also, it's not just us on the voters, it's the taxpayers, it's the renters, it's the property owners, it's the business owners, large and small. It's the economy.
Yeah.
It's the visitors, it's the tourists, it's the whole tourism industry, it's the retail, it's everything that
It's enormous.
their job is to safeguard all of this and to come together. That's why there's 11 supervisors and a mayor. So there's actually 12 people that are working sort of in concert to safeguard our community. So when
Okay.
they screw up, we should be able to tell them and let them know. Now, we also talked about this the other day too, when we were having our coffee the other morning, is one would think that if you were the elected official, if you were the representative, either the mayor, representative of the city, or if you were a supervisor of one particular district of the 11 districts, right? That if you start seeing rumblings of discontent and you start seeing and hearing that your constituents are now up in arms because of something that you did, something that you didn't do, either way, that you were supposed to and you didn't, right? You would think that they would get the message. You would think that that supervisor, and in this case right now, Joel Engardio, that he would be listening and seeing the discontent and that he would then do
Mhm.
something to rectify it.
Absolutely. And it's a great segue into um, a metaphor. And it
Mhm.
was I actually I threw this out on X the other day about that I was fired from Marie Callender's when I worked there. I think it was just after high school. Actually, I've been fired many times, but like for jobs like that. For okay, but let me explain. And I think this is really important
Yes.
in a funny way, which is, I showed up. I was in training. My job was to put flatware on the table, get people their water, put food on the table when it comes up, put the check down, you name it, your basic waitressing duties, and other kind of basic duties there. I just couldn't do it. I don't know what I was doing. My head was in the clouds. I was delivering forks when they needed a check, and nothing was going right. And I remember distinctly my boss, she sat me down and she said, this just isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. People were
Mm-hmm.
depending on me for their meals. I didn't get their meals.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was haphazard, and it was not working. And
Yeah.
I was shown the door. So it is. If you're not
It-
delivering, you have to deliver the product. You have to deliver the service. You have to.
and
It is
that's actually a really good segue back in. It's really awesome because with Mr. Engardio, again, we're going back to his recall, is that it's not a single issue, right? With him, it's not a single issue why the voters, his constituents, want to pull him out of office. So
mm,
he's it's like, are you, Joel, if you could talk to him, right? Joel, are you sure that you were really cut out for being a supervisor? How could you possibly think that what you're doing is what your constituents believe you are going to do for them? And there could be, I'm sure we will see over these next few weeks, because the recall of his recall of Joel Engardio is scheduled for September 16th, right? So
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of back and forth now justifying why you should vote to recall him or not recall him. And we're going to see lists coming out of District 4 of the voters saying why we should recall him. There's going to be a
Okay.
whole slew of problems.
What I want to get out there too about this is there's a lot of noise, which is,
Mm-hmm.
this is Peskin's doing. He wants his
Mm-hmm.
greasy fingers in there, and this is his way of reclaiming somehow some power. Put the progressives, and he's going to get in there. He's the puppet master in
Mm-hmm.
this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a guilt trip.
Yeah.
That is a strategy
Mm-hmm.
that is trying to make people not vote for the recall and
That's
give it a
right.
little scare tactic. I
That's
don't
right. And
believe
there's going to
that
be
for a
so much of that. Yep. There's
yeah,
going to be a lot of that.
it's just I
Yimby versus NIMBY, progressive versus moderate. Are the Republicans going to be involved? Is Peskin, who was fairly disliked in many quarters of the city, the boogeyman? I think I saw him referred to in one of the local print newspapers last week, saying, "Is the boogeyman now trying to be the puppet master?" Right. So yeah, you're right. So
look, I'm
there's
no
going to be
fan of Peskin. I am no fan of Peskin. However, and of course he may be kind of rubbing his hands in glee in some ways about this, but
salivating maybe.
but the point is you don't vote for or vote against a recall based on that kind of silly gossip.
Yeah.
I do find it silly. I'm sorry. If somebody has some proof that this is the case, hit us up because I
Mm-hmm.
want to know. I have not seen it. Nothing tangible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm more than happy. Yeah, come on, just show me the evidence with that. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't see it.
Yeah.
I say this is your call. This is your
Hmm.
call, district people. You
Yep,
got that coming up. And
that's right.
for all the other electeds, pay attention,
That's right.
be strong, do what you need to do. Be, you know, like there I was, and as I say, I've been fired before. There have been times where I've been on the cusp, and it's just like, whoo, I better get my stuff together.
That's right.
I had better, um, you know, deliver the marketing materials that I was
Hmm.
supposed to on time, and you know, make sure there's no errors on it because they're breathing down my neck right
Hmm.
now. That's really, it's a good thing.
Do your job.
Sure, and do it
That's the
well.
message. Do your job, do it well. Listen to your who put you in office. Listen to the people who are paying your salary and respect them, or either get out or you're going to be removed one way or another.
Sure.
Now, about in as we're getting close to our closing time for this episode, let me pose one quick last question. Um, there are some people out there that just simply say, I do not believe in recalls at all. I believe that a elected official should finish out the term, and if you're not happy with their job, then don't re-elect them when the time comes. And so in a year and a half ago, I'm sorry, in a year and a half from now, next November 2026 would be Joel Engardio's re-election election, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's a year and a half from now. Do you think, because of some of these people, what they say, that they don't support recalls for any reason, that we should just keep trying to pressure him to do a job differently and complain and bitch and moan of what he does or doesn't do? And just when he is his time is up for recall next, I'm sorry, for re-election next year, just don't vote for him.
Yeah, I think that's valid. It's, I mean, I don't hold that opinion, but I think
Mhm.
it's a valid opinion. I understand if that's philosophically, it just doesn't work for you. And some of it does have to do that it's expensive. It throws everything into disarray. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure. That is
Mm-hmm.
true. That
Yeah.
is true. With every upside, there's a downside, and that's the downside.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not up to, I don't personally, I don't, it's not up to me to try to change people's minds, but I will give you my opinion on it.
That's
That's my
right.
opinion. I think that San Francisco actually, strangely enough, functions better with this. We saw it with Chesa Boudin. I know you and I were, I think we were in
Yeah.
different areas or something, but I do remember that the
Yeah.
night that the results came out, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty jubilant. So,
Yeah. It
and
was
it made the nationals, it made the internationals.
news. Yep.
It was very, very powerful and
Mm-hmm.
positive. Of course, some people weren't happy about it, but
Yeah.
overall, and look what we got.
That's
We
right.
got Brooke Jenkins as a
We got
great DA.
a real
That's right.
prosecutor who won two election challenges, and yeah, she's doing a great job. Even though there are people who still want to try and cut her down, because they're the ones who were like the holdouts, the Chesa Boudin loyalists.
Yeah.
So we are now in the throes of all of the marketing of this Joel Engardio recall. We're going to start to see um, either newspaper, TV, social media ads, people going door to door with flyers, and maybe outside of supermarkets, there's going to be tables set up to try and convince the District 4 voters to not recall him. And I've already seen a couple of um, people have sent me screenshots of these advertisements in different what do you call it when you're trying to get a job somewhere. They're hiring the let's save Joel, right, save Joel from a recall. They're hiring field directors, people to go out there now and coordinate and organize to try and defeat his recall.
Mm.
And I have said multiple times now that here in San Francisco, every recall election of every elected official that has reached the threshold and qualified for a recall election by getting the necessary number of votes, I'm sorry, of signatures to then get an election scheduled, every single one in the Bay Area has succeeded. when put before the voters. So if Joel beats this, which right now there is no precedent that he would beat it, if he does, that would be a first time.
Yeah.
But I think right now that with how up in arms District 4 voters are, he's toast.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a little gossipy thing, not really,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to name any names, but
Yeah.
many people have told me, Erica, I worked so hard to get this guy into office.
Into office.
Into office. I worked so hard.
Yeah.
I had a very vested interest in helping him get elected and keeping him in office. And then this came about,
Yeah.
and my heart is broken. It
Mm-hmm.
was not what I wanted, not what we were told. And we told him, and we told him, and he did not listen.
He didn't listen. Yeah.
So again, this is not personal. It's business. Just like when I was fired, it wasn't against Erica Sandberg, the 19-year-old girl
Yeah.
who just wanted to go to the beach. It was against a job not done correctly. And
that's right. You have a job description.
That's it.
Here's the description. Here's what you're supposed to do. You don't do it.
And I hope
out.
he's okay. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, this has got to be a miserable experience. I'm sure it is. So if you're listening, Joel, seriously, I get it, but I truly hope that you learn from this, because this was brutal, and I understand.
And you know, it's not too late for him to resign. Will he resign? Probably not. His recall is already scheduled for September 16th, and that's going to go through. So if he keeps pretending that everything is great, keeps putting out these newsletters that I happen to see, and tweets and other Instagram messages that I happen to see, we all happen to be scouring to see what he's saying. He keeps pretending that everything is great, that he is doing a fantastic job as supervisor. He rarely ever addresses any of the issues that are problematic for his constituents.
Oh,
and he just is like, I'm going through with, I'm doing a great job, and I'm going to beat the recall.
I don't think that he's necessarily writing all of his materials, but if he is, whatever. I just want to say this. There was a little line in one of his emails that went out, or messages that went out, which
one was it?
Change is hard. How dare you? How
That's right.
dare you?
That's right.
That is extremely disturbing and offensive. Somebody told me that would be like my husband coming up to me and go, Erica, met this girl, but sorry, it's just I got a little dalliance. But hey, Erica, change is hard.
Change is hard.
Yeah, I'll say it is, my darling.
Yeah.
But
change is so hard. How about you just leave office? We're pulling you out.
Cannot,
and we'll see how you accept change.
We cannot end this podcast today without doing a tiny bit of speculation about who Daniel Lurie, the mayor, may decide to appoint, because it is his call. It will be, if he's right. Of course, I do believe that has to be accepted by the Board of Supervisors by a vote. I could be a little bit wrong about that. But any speculation on whom it might be?
Well, I know that the topic is very hot right now, that there's a lot of people wondering if Lurie would appoint a progressive or a YIMBY or a moderate or a NIMBY, because that area of the city, the West Side, is very much not YIMBY, is looking into ways to thwart all of that. Yes, in my backyard, tearing down and bulldozing the West Side. They're fearful of that. So it could come back to haunt Mayor Lurie if he appoints someone who is real progressive. Let's get going and start bulldozing neighborhoods and build and build and build. So that's going to be a problem on Lurie. It's going to be a bad mark on Lurie if he chooses someone, a replacement for Engardio, that the district does not approve of either.
Oh, it's a very delicate balance that he's going to need to strike about this, because I hate the word YIMBY. or I hate the
I
word
know, I
NIMBY.
know that.
I
I
hate this.
know.
I think another podcast is going to have to be about those two words.
We can do that.
Okay,
All right.
okay, but
I don't have any
but
specific names. I don't have any particular name, but there are a few people who have been floated, including someone who's involved with running the recall committee, like Albert Chow.
Mhm.
I think his name came up. I don't know of any others other than him. Uh,
Who ran against him in the election?
oh, to bring him back,
Yeah,
Gordon Marr.
yeah.
Yes, and that's also another one of these boogeymen saying, well, Joel ran on deposing this crazy Gordon Marr. How could we think of having him come back again? And it just might be that him as
Uh,
another candidate. I don't
Okay,
know.
but I think that we should place bets. I don't think that's going to happen. I would put
No, I
five
don't
dollars
either.
down,
I
five
wouldn't even
US
waste my
dollars. I
money.
don't
I
think
wouldn't even
that's going
waste
to
my
happen.
money. No,
I
it's
think
not
it's
going to
going to
happen.
be somebody out of the blue. I think it's going to be like Stephen Sherrill, who is District 2 supervisor, moderate, moderate, moderate. Somebody who's not going to be too.
Fairly unknown.
Yeah, I do. That's my guess. As far as a name, though, I don't have it. So if
Right.
anybody out there has some ideas, please let us know.
Okay.
I love that.
And on that note, I think we will conclude our episode 2 of Really San Francisco, which is dedicated to recalls and talking about Joel Engardio. And Erica, I think it was really great having this discussion today, and we'll look forward to another episode shortly.
Yes, definitely. And don't stop saying really San Francisco, because honestly, that's what you're sometimes you just
Yep.
have to shrug your shoulders and go, this place is complete madness.
Yep.
But I love it. You love it too. So here we
Mhm.
are. All right.
Okay. Thank
Enjoy,
you for
everybody.
everyone. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Really San Francisco.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Take care.